Welcome, everybody, to Season 4, Episode 26 of Motivate Me 313's podcast. We have another great and informative show for you today. Today's title is Gun Safety 101, What Every Owner Should Know. We are here with Younes Ahmed from Advanced Firearm Training, so go ahead and give him a round of applause. He's in the building today. Shout out to Younes. Some of y'all may have seen that clip that we had with Younes where, we went to a gun range, a shooting range, and, he gave us some lessons that he's going to test us today that we're probably not going to pass because, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But that's why he's here, to constantly give you those reminders and talk about safety. So, inshallah, looking forward to a great show. Shout out to Ramsey. He's in the back on the ones and twos. We appreciate him as always. Of course, you got myself, Omar T. To the left of me, we got Yusuf T. We do have Ali Abdullah about to be walking in any second now, so shout out to him as well. We want to also say be sure to follow us on all of our socials. We have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. You can find all those platforms on our website at ozmedia313.com. Shout out to our sponsors. You got Hanley International Academy, Holy Bowly, Wingfellas, Juice Box, Melika Kebab, Jabed Coffee House, and Royal Kebab. We appreciate them and their support. Ramsey, we're going to go ahead and start off with Wingfellas. We appreciate them and their support, and then we're going to keep things rolling. So shout out to Wingfellas, and we'll get started afterwards. Do you know what goes perfect with the big game or your favorite TV show? Some deliciously tender wings from Wingfellas. Wingfellas Restaurant is home to the best wings in Michigan. With over 20 different sauces and seasonings to choose from, you can make sure every wing order you make caters to your taste buds. They have 7 different locations in Michigan. They have a location in Dearborn, Southfield, Detroit, Belleville, Wyandotte, Flint, and Taylor. So no matter where you are at in the state, Wingfellas is your one-stop shop for some fall-off-the-bone wings. Also, be sure to visit them at their website at thewingfellas.com.
Yeah. Drop the mag.
Okay. Hey, shout out to Younes. He's making sure, he's helping us make sure we get the answers right on the camera.
I'm making sure. All right, I don't want to make it look bad.
Yeah. So shout out to Younes. First of all, we got Ali here. Ramsey, go ahead and put the camera on Ali. Ali's in the building, he just popped in. So Ali's here. We got 4 people in the studio, including Ramsey, makes it 5. So with that said, about a good 2 months ago, we met up with Younes at our gun range, gave us some lessons, and we all, make sure his mic is on, Ramsey. He gave us some lessons, and we all made sure that...
That's the other one.
We all made sure that we were... Yep. Yeah. Gave us some lessons, went to the range. I think this was the young fella's first time there. Some of them, I think maybe all of them. And it was a great experience. So, Younes, first of all, how are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What is it that you do? And then we'll go from there. You know what I'm saying?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good. You already know what I do,
Just in case for the people out there that might not be.
We've been teaching classes for the last 4 years, licensed. But we've been teaching classes before that, unlicensed, just to friends and family. And that's pretty much where I got the motivation from.
Nice. So going off of that,
Sure.
starting off with that and then going off of that basic question of that and just telling us a little bit about yourself. So I guess what made you want to teach classes about gun laws and how to shoot a gun?
Okay. That's a really good question, actually. It started off with me just learning for myself, right? Because if you don't know how to shoot, you want to learn. And I'll tell you this, everything is on YouTube. I learned everything on YouTube, just learning from the best of the best. I'm talking about ex-Marines, ex-Navy SEALs, and just learning the fundamentals from them and advancing, practicing in my house with no ammo, just practicing the draw, doing everything I can that's in my means, and then going to the range and implementing what I learned. That's the biggest thing, is going to the range and practicing. You got to put the practice in, you know what I mean? And after you get the practice in, you start seeing your improvements, you start seeing the results. You're like, oh, you feel so confident. And I'm sure you guys know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Like, after you guys go to the range with me, you're kind of anxious at the beginning. You're kind of scared a little bit. Everybody is, never shot a gun in their lives. And then you learn with somebody that knows what he's doing. You learn how to shoot. And the second you start hitting the target that you're trying to hit, there's a sense of confidence that comes over you. You'll be like, oh, wow, this is not too hard, right? Mm. So then I started taking my brothers with me, because I have, mashallah, 4 brothers. And I started teaching them, started teaching my friends. And then once I started teaching people, I felt really good, you know, because I feel like, man, this is the knowledge that can save lives,
Yeah.
you know.
And you talk about saving lives. First of all, let's talk about that experience of going to the range. Well, before we even talk about the saving lives part, Ali, start off with you. You know, what was your experience like? You know, I don't know if this was your first time going, so tell us a little bit about your experience.
It's actually my first time going to a range. I definitely learned a lot more than, you know, what I was expecting to get hit with. So I appreciate it, Younes. Definitely, and like, you know, when he explains it, it's really easy. You know, nothing, you know, over the top. It's right to the point. He shows you, demonstrates. I think it's you know, he's a good instructor.
And what was like maybe like the most maybe surprising, or was there anything that shocked you, or was it some of the stuff that you were learning and that you kind of went through yourself? Was there anything that was specific that, you know, surprised you, or was this something that you were expecting?
Yeah, one thing that he mentioned about was the grip placement and how much your left hand actually
Controls.
controls the gun than your right hand.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what kind of shocked me at first. And
That's a great point. Great point.
That is a great point.
Yeah.
That's the number one mistake people make.
Yeah. And so what was the percentage that you told us? Like
70-30 or something.
If you're a right-handed,
Yeah.
80 on your left, 20 on your right,
There you go.
70, 30, around there.
And he's talking about the gun control of how much
Grip strength.
grip strength, you have for the gun. And, you know, if you're right-handed, you would think people would have thought like, okay, you know, majority of us are coming from a right hand, when really,
Especially when you see a lot of people hold guns with both of their hands.
Yeah.
You know, they like to control, you know, like people have the double, like, that's what you see in movies.
Yeah.
That's what people assume.
you used to watch what is it?
John Wick.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Yusuf, what was your experience like going to the gun range for your first time?
Yeah, my first time, you know, at first I was a little anxious, you know, that's with everything you do for the first time. But as soon as we walked in, you know, I got even more, like, I was just shocked. We all were shocked because we had an AR right next to us.
Oh,
You know, it
yeah.
was, like,
Oh,
crazy
man.
sound.
I forgot about that, man. Loud as
Yeah.
heck, man.
It's
good.
crazy the difference comparison when you're like when you're outside of that room and then you get in there, the whole ground shakes, everything. You know what I'm saying? That was
Yeah,
But it was sweet, though.
This was their first experience. They had an AR right next to them being popped off.
Yeah, those are really loud. Those are
Yeah,
some of the loudest, yeah.
crazy.
but
But overall, though,
Overall, yeah, Younes did a great job teaching us just the fundamentals on how to just first time loading up a gun, putting the gun at that target, and just like as soon as I hit my first bullseye, I'm like, oh man, I started hitting more and more.
Yeah.
Confidence went up crazy.
Crazy.
Especially
Yeah.
and then when we got to the bigger guns,
Oh, the
yeah, I know what you're talking
PCC.
about. Yeah, exactly, PCC. That's what I was gonna say. We started hitting the target as that, and then I started shooting like multiple rounds at once, and
Oh,
that's it.
that's it. You felt like Rambo.
100%.
one thing that I did like is when he first called this out. You know, he said, "You do everything that I tell you, you're gonna get a bullseye on your first shot." Right?
Okay, that's a good point.
I was the first person to shoot the gun. I tried doing everything. He made sure I looked good. Shot bulls. I was like, what the? You know, it's crazy. Like I think that happens to like most of us too. Ramsey, I know he got it. Hamza,
Yeah, Ramsey
But
shot amazing.
Ramsey
mashallah.
was doing good. Yeah.
He's the youngest, right?
Yep.
Yeah, great.
But like,
shooter.
Shoot or shoot.
Hey, so do you
Shoot
think,
or
do you
shoot.
think it's like it's also like with like does it go in hand with hand-eye coordination? Do you think so with the aiming and hitting a target?
100%. And we actually got cut short. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
We kind of went there. We started late, and then the guys, they told us we got to go.
Yeah.
Because we took too long, right? But I was eventually going to get into an advanced drill that I do in my advanced classes. And that's shooting without aiming. It's called point shooting. So you literally, remember the grip that I taught you?
Mm-hmm.
Your left thumb is kind of like pointing towards the target. You're just going to look at the target and point at it.
Yeah.
That's realistic.
That's the most realistic thing you can do, because this is a fact. Most deadly encounters happen within 3 to 5 yards.
That's crazy.
3 to 5 yards away to somebody at that door right there, that's about 4 or 5 yards, right? You're not going to aim. You're just going to point and shoot at that door.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard either. It's all about your eyes. Your eyes look somewhere, your hands will follow your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just, you just have to learn that grip that I taught you guys. That grip is everything. You know, because your thumb is pretty much pointing at the target. You know what I mean? And that 80-20, the whole point of that 80% is to keep the gun from moving, that muzzle rise, right? So you can bust off a whole lot of shots. Yeah, inshallah, we'll have another opportunity to get back to the range, throw you guys through a little advanced drills. Those are the best. We call them real life drills.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. So going off of the original question of
Yes.
what made you want to do it. Now, what goes through your mind when you hear stories about people getting hurt due to gunplay or foul play?
Oh man, it's a lot of negligence that's involved usually. I don't know if you guys remember the gun safety rules. I know you did a little segment about it on your Instagram a couple months ago. If you follow those rules,
And let's go over them too quickly, just in case someone didn't say
all right, go
see
ahead.
them.
I'm
So
gonna put you on the hot seat now.
I mean, we're gonna
give me one rule. Give me
yeah,
one.
I got
Give me one.
one.
Always treat every gun like it's loaded. You know
Perfect,
what I'm saying?
perfect.
Can we get a round of applause, Ramsey?
all
Man,
right,
step up,
perfect.
man. Dang,
All right.
there you go. Yes, I got.
I don't know exactly word for word, but no flagging. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So what does that mean?
Keep
Like,
keeping the muzzle at the target.
Yeah,
Always do
you
that.
gotta keep the muzzle like downwards, or
Not down.
like
Safe direction.
Yeah, safe direction, like in
Yeah.
front.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need one more, and it's the most important rule.
I know it. Hold up.
Come on,
Most
Yusuf.
important rule.
The most important rule. If you disobey every rule, but you follow this rule, nothing will happen.
It's funny we just
What
talked about
makes-
the rules, but I'm drawing a blank. Right
What makes it? I'll give you a hint. What makes a gun go off?
Oh, finger on the trigger.
Oh yeah, keep your finger off the
Yeah.
trigger. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great.
Keep your
yeah.
finger off the trigger.
Finger off the trigger until ready to shoot.
Yeah.
And I emphasize that as much as I can. I'm like, okay, I'm at the range with you guys. I'm pointing the gun downrange. My finger is still not on the trigger. I'm not ready to shoot. I'm pointing. I see my target. I'm ready now. I try to emphasize that as much as I can. Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but our hands are naturally just curved.
Yeah.
Our fingers are like curved. And naturally, when somebody wants to grab a gun, their finger just naturally just fits in that
Locks
nice
in
little
there.
pocket for the trigger, that trigger guard. So people naturally just grab a gun with their finger on the trigger, which is the scariest thing ever.
So going back to the negligence and the people messing with their guns and people getting shot accidentally, like, what are your thoughts on it overall? Like, just what do you think it comes from? Just not being educated?
I strongly believe that as long as we're living in a society with firearms, gun safety needs to be taught. Period. You know what I mean? Gun safety. If gun safety was taught and wasn't neglected, there wouldn't be things like this happening. You know
I
what
agree. What are your thoughts on it? You want to share any 2 cents on it? I mean, I know we've heard a couple stories in our community about some stuff happening like that. When y'all hear that, what goes through your mind?
With gun safety in general.
People just,
People getting hurt.
people getting hurt.
Honestly,
What?
I think it really hits more when like the people,
Yeah.
your own people or whoever it may be, or that friend of a friend. It's just I don't know. Sometimes you just expect better, but I mean, what can you do, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. Being more safe about that. Any 2 cents you want to add on?
I was just gonna say how you started off on how you had to teach yourself, and you taught your brothers and friends. So that's basically what you taught us, is just teaching the fundamentals, and then hopefully exploiting those rules to other people.
Yeah.
That's the best thing.
So I wanted to go kind of touch on the first question is you have to do this out of love.
Yeah.
How much do you really love your family? What are you willing to do to protect them? Yes, I conceal carry as much as I can everywhere I go. But when I leave, I pray to Allah, Ya Allah, inshallah, I don't have to use this. I don't want to use this, right? And we're gonna get into that in the scenarios edition and whatnot. But you have to do this out of love. This is gonna be a bold statement, but if you have a family, you take your family out on the regular to all these public places, and you don't have a means to protect your family, I don't care if it's a non-lethal means, like a pepper spray or something. Like, you have to have something to protect your family, something. Because we live in a world that's, newsflash, this is not Dubai, This is not the safest country in the world or the safest area in the world. There's a lot of crazies out there. There's a lot of hate crimes out there. There's a lot of people that have posted, especially as Arab Americans living in this world, at this timeline of where we're living, there's a lot of hate crimes against Arab due to Palestine. And you've heard of the stories. People getting stabbed in Chicago, a guy threatening a mosque to blow up a mosque, guys threatening down south to shoot up mosques. This is real life.
And going off of that, how do you feel like, within the Arab and Muslim communities, influence their attitude towards gun ownership and safety? Like, where do you think we stand as a community when it comes to gun ownership and gun safety?
I think we're split. And the split is most likely like a few percentage, maybe about 30% of us are actually scared for our families and we want to protect our families. And they go about learning and getting CPLs and whatnot so they can legally possess and carry a pistol and protect their family. And on the other hand, I think the rest are just traumatized of guns, because I'm sure we're all from the same country here, and there's a lot of negligent discharges that happen back in Yemen, and people are traumatized. They know I'm sure if you talk to your parents, they'll tell you they know at least of one story of somebody getting shot by accident. This happens my mom in specific, when I started going down this road of learning more about guns and this and that, and learning how to safely and teaching people, mom was like, right away comes and tells me, oh, there's this guy in our qaryah, in our village, he was cleaning his gun and he shot himself in the head. So yeah, they're traumatized. There's half of them are traumatized and scared of guns, like say about 95% of women, right?
For sure.
And then you have that other side that's actually a realistic person that knows like the dangers of this world, and you have to khudh bil asbab, right? You have to do what you can with your means, legally.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about breaking down those scenarios later on in the show. But Ramsey, we're going to run our next ad of the show. Shout out to Younes, just getting warmed up and having a good conversation so far, and these young fellas over here. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to our good friends at Hanley International Academy. Shout out to Hanley International Academy, and we're going to keep it rolling. So shout out to Hanley. Let's be honest. If you're looking for the place that has the best K-8 school for your child, then the choice should be easy, and that's Hanley International Academy. Hanley International Academy is a school that treats every student and staff like their own family. It's even in their vision statement, educating your child like our own. The academics there are great. The athletics there are great. Thank you to the staff and administrators at Hanley for educating our leaders of tomorrow. To learn more about Hanley, you can visit their website at hanleyacademy.com or call them at 313-875-8888. That would make them feel good over there. I was like, all right. Shout out to Hanley International Academy, great school, and appreciate them and their support. So with that said, again, today's conversation, what were you about to say?
I was gonna ask quick question real quick. With like the scariness with the guns and situation with what you were saying about your mother and stuff, like when you wanted to pursue something with guns. Like, what was her, thoughts about it? Like, was she with it, or was she hesitant, or was she like, no, just don't do it?
I'll tell you this. I went and got my CPL first. That was the first thing I did. Okay? I got my Michigan concealed pistol license, took the course, when I was 21. As soon as I turned 21, took the course, got the certificate, turned it in, waited 3 weeks, got the official license in the mail, and then I showed it to her. Like, look. I got the license to conceal a pistol. I have to go get a pistol. I have to get it now. I have to. I got the license for it. Okay. So she was more willing once I had the license, pretty much. If I just wanted to just go get guns and stuff, she's like, she's scared of, laws. They don't know laws. They don't know gun laws. They don't know. They think everything gun related is wrong and illegal. So as soon as you show them that license, like I'm licensed and I can conceal carry by the law, they're more accepting.
Right now, since we're talking about guns, gun to your head. Someone asks you, should every adult carry a gun? What's your answer and why?
100%. More good guys with guns is less gun violence.
Less bad guys with...
More good guys with guns.
Less bad guys in the
less
streets.
Violence in general.
Okay.
Less violence. Imagine you have a world full of Superman and Superwoman. If a bad guy tries to act up, they get put down real quick. They
I like that.
they have to think twice and three times about wanting to rob that certain person or want to kill a certain person because everybody around him is also carrying.
Do you think teachers should carry?
Teachers
In
in
schools.
schools? That's a sticky
That
one.
was a big topic. I remember.
That's a
Yeah.
sticky one because we're humans in the end of the day, right? And humans are forgetful, right? El insan yinsa. It's the same base word, you know, humans and forget. So there can be something that happens. It's like if they forget, they forget the gun in the drawer. My biggest concern if it's a kid gets his hands on it.
Right.
That's my biggest concern. If they can create a protocol where maybe it's
Have like a lockbox or
a
something.
lockbox fingerprint, it has to be like in the box fingerprint, only thumb, something like that. Yeah, maybe. But just just carrying a gun, teaching kids, I don't agree with that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It
Yeah,
don't have to be a
because
lot.
the whole point of carrying the guns in the school is for what? To keep the kids safe. We don't want to put them in a situation where, he has to run out, his nose is bleeding, he has to go to the bathroom, he forgets it in the drawer, kid gets to it, you got another mass shooting.
So what currently in our community, basically, what concerns do community members have when it comes to gun violence and safety? Especially with what's going on, like you said, it doesn't necessarily just have to be Arab, but we're in a very hot time. It could be non-Muslims where you got Democrats and Republicans where things might get physical nowadays, but depending on where you represent, just in general, like in the community, like from someone who teaches, about gun laws, what do you think people are most concerned with?
It's not only the gun laws, it's just a segment of what we teach, but mainly it's de-escalation. Your number one top goal is always de-escalation, no matter who you are. Why would you want confrontation? If somebody's heated, somebody's yelling, there's no point of talking to them. If somebody gets to a point where they're yelling, there's nothing that you can say that will get to them. Your best thing is to just get out of there. That's pretty much your number one goal in any confrontation is get out of there. Can you get out of there? Oh, you can't get out of there. Can you de-escalate? You can't de-escalate. Are you trapped? You're trapped. You're scared for your life? Then you protect yourself. But that's pretty much the whole scenario. I know you're going to get to the scenarios, but I kind of that ties in together with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so you think community concern, that's the biggest thing is de-escalation situations?
Yeah, you have to know how to de-escalate and avoid confrontation.
Yeah.
Can you give me a more specific question?
Like more so like, do they, when it comes to gun laws and gun safety, like are they worried about people just not being trained enough that carry guns? Do they feel like there's too many people who have mental disabilities that can have access to guns? Like, when it comes to concerns with gun safety and gun laws, like when you talk to people, like why, when they say like, I don't want to carry a gun, why is the reasoning why? Like what,
Well, that brings us to the first thing I said when your initial feelings walking into a range for the first time. How did you feel?
That wasn't my first time, but you still get some anxious.
How did you feel?
For sure,
I was
anxiousness.
anxious. I was a little nervous.
How about you?
Honestly, I was excited.
You were excited.
Yeah, I always wanted to go to a gun range. That's the
Okay.
thing. Like I always planned.
But
like,
no matter
wanting to
how
get
much
my-
you were excited, there's definitely
100%.
a slither of fear. There has to be.
100%. Like
know?
I'm finally in that situation. Like
There's fear.
all fun and games when you picture. Yeah, I want to go to a gun range,
There's
shoot.
fear. And as I said,
And
that's pretty much people are naturally traumatized by guns.
Yeah.
People are naturally traumatized by guns. They view them as bad because they kill, but as soon as they learn how to properly use one, their confidence goes sky high and they don't feel scared of guns anymore. They're like, wow, this is a tool I can use to protect my loved ones. That's the biggest thing.
I love that, man. And by the way, I'm happy that we're having this conversation because and it's needed, man. We can't hide away from stuff that's happening in our world.
You have to be realistic, man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if I can live in a country like Dubai that has no guns, the police don't have guns.
Really?
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. That would be awesome. But I'm a realist. I know that we live in a country where guns will always be there. You can legally print guns in certain states. You You can literally make ghost guns. We live in a state where you can make ghost guns. Unregistered, no serial number guns. Legally. Okay?
Crazy. Well, and ghost guns, can they shoot?
Of course. No. A ghost gun just means a gun with no serial number.
Because it can't be tracked.
So, for example, like an AR-15, the lower part of an AR-15 is what has a serial number, and that's what's registered pretty much, and that's what you need to, if you want to buy a lower, you have to go through the background check and everything. But if you can get a solid piece of steel that's like this big, that's what people do. And they'll mill it, and they'll create that lower, and then you can buy all the parts for the AR shipped to your house. No background check, nothing. You only need background check for that lower. So they make the lower, order the rest of the parts, put them together. Ghost gun. They 3D print guns. They 3D print.
That's the crazy thing. 3D
A Glock. I'm sure you know what's a Glock, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The bottom part, the lower, right? What is it made of? Plastic or metal? It's polymer. It's polymer, right?
Yeah.
It's polymer. The top is the slide is metal. Where's the serial number, on the slide or the polymer part?
Is it on the...
It's on the polymer
yeah.
part. They 3D print those. And then just buy the slide, buy the barrel, buy the springs and the trigger, ship to your house.
And it's all legal.
Legal in certain states.
And Michigan is one of them.
Yes.
What role does education play when it comes to promoting gun safety within our communities? Like, are there specific programs or initiatives that have been effective? I mean, obviously you teach and do advanced firearm training, but any other thing that, like, you would say when it comes down to educating our community, or specific programs that will help people? What would you recommend if someone comes up to you, be like, how can I learn more about gun safety and gun law?
Take our basic pistol course. We offer the CPL course and the basic pistol course, advanced pistol course, advanced stage 2 course, and then we have like a run and gun course. Take the basic pistol course. I strongly believe every single person living in this country should take a basic pistol course. That's exactly what I put you guys through. So what I put you guys through was the basic pistol course. You know? Yeah. How do you feel about what you learned? You learned so much. And in the end of the day, you walking out of that course, is that going to benefit humanity? Of what you learned in there?
Yeah.
100%. You learn how to become more safe. You learn how to effectively use a gun. So when you have to use a gun, you're actually going to hit the target that you want to hit. You know, that's a big thing, right?
It is.
People try to protect themselves or something, and they don't know how to shoot, and they shoot everybody around the
I think everyone in the world should definitely take the basic course for sure.
Yeah.
Just to have it, and it doesn't matter what age. I didn't know that these guys legally can go to a gun range.
I've actually taught a couple kids as young as 8 years old.
And what is their age limit? Like, anyone can really go and do that?
Technically speaking, it's 12 years old at that range, you know. But there's a lot of outdoor ranges that you can take your kids to.
Interesting.
Yeah. They don't ask for ID or anything in the outdoor ranges like the one that we went to. You had to put your ID in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thoughts on anything that's being mentioned right now?
Just quick question. Let's say you have a scenario. You have
You want to get to the scenarios?
No, not yet.
No.
But we're doing we got an actual section of scenarios.
Okay, I'll get to that.
You'll get to that part. Any comments and concerns so far, or you want to keep it rolling?
Keep it rolling.
All right. So, I guess, what are some of the most common misconceptions about gun ownership and safety in our, in the community that we are in, or the community that you serve, and how can we address them? So, the most common misconceptions about gun ownership and safety in our community.
I'm sure, like, if they're the most common misconceptions, you guys should answer that. Like, what do you think is the most?
Or we can maybe even ask you a question. For example, I think a big misconception is where people can carry guns. I know.
Where?
Yeah, where.
Okay.
So
do you have a Michigan CPL?
Yeah.
If you look at the back of it, it tells you.
Yeah.
It tells you where you can't carry a gun.
Just in case someone doesn't have a CPL, though.
It tells you can't carry in a school, excludes the school parking lot. You can't carry in a casino. You can't carry in any establishment where the majority of their income is alcohol, so bars, taverns. You can't carry in a church, a synagogue, a mosque. You can't carry in any auditorium that has a seating capacity of 2,500 or more. So there's places that you can't carry, and it tells you right away.
Yeah.
Question.
What about a mall?
Yes, you can carry in a mall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Question. What if like you were given, you asked permission?
Yes, if you have permission, for example, from a mosque, and yes, you can carry as long as you have permission.
You know, when you are a CPL owner and the officer comes to your window, you get pulled over for whatever it may be. You have to shout out, I have CPL.
Yeah.
What if you're not carrying at that time though? But you
Still have to mention.
still have to.
Still have to mention. Yeah.
So we just want to repeat that again. If you are a CPL owner, if you have your license and you get pulled over, when a cop comes to your car, you need to mention to them immediately that you are a CPL owner.
And I can tell you exactly what's gonna happen
Yeah.
because I have a good amount of experience with this because I drive a lot and I used to drive as my main source of income. I used to drive a lot, so I've gotten pulled over a good amount of times with a CPL, and so what I would love to do is as soon as I pull over, I get everything ready, my ID, my CPL, even my instructor license card, and I'll grab my insurance registration. I'll put it all right in front of the steering wheel. Before he comes, like I want to move and get everything ready before he comes, put it on there, grab the wheel. Roll all the windows down. I always roll all the windows down. So like both, usually it's two, most of the time, and they'll come around. And so all the windows down, they're more at ease. You know, you wanna help them. You wanna help the cops be at ease. You know what I mean? I really do. I'll give a shout out to all the cops out there, you know, dedicating their lives because it's not a easy job at all. You know what I mean? You know, they can die at any moment. You know what I mean? Especially walking up to a car. Walking up to a car at that traffic stop is the most
Vulnerable.
nerve-wracking
They're the most
vulnerable position for them. So I try to make it as easy as I can. You know, sometimes I'll even I'll have both my hands out the window. So if they're still in the car, they're already at ease. You know what I mean? So as soon as they come to me, officer, I have a CPL, and I'll have it in my hand already. I'll be like, officer, I have a CPL. He's like, okay, thank you for letting me know. Their next question always is, are you carrying? And you tell them, yes. His next question is going to be, where is it? You tell them it's in the glove compartment. It's on the floor. It's in the center console. It's wherever you tell him. There's either two scenarios. They try to take the gun, finish the traffic stop, and then give it back to you. Or they'll just tell you, okay, no problem. Just don't reach
In that area.
We won't have a problem. But so it's actually 50-50. This happened to me half the times. They want to take the gun, empty it, make sure it's, and put it on. They usually leave it on the car. Usually, sometimes they don't take it with them. But then they'll do the traffic stop and then they'll give it back to you. They'll tell you don't load it until we leave. Okay.
So if you are in a car with other people who don't have CPL and you are a CPL owner and you have your gun just laying on the floor, is that illegal?
It's a very gray area, you know. But a lot of people, they recommend if you have people in the car with you, you should have your gun in the holster, right? In the holster on you. Or in your vicinity. In your vicinity, not in somebody else's vicinity. You know what I mean? Like a lot of they have these magnets that you can put your gun on.
Yeah, I saw that.
A lot of people do that. And they'll have like, here's a steering wheel, gun's right here. Yeah, so
Right under.
That's the best spot to me.
that's a good spot. But me personally, alhamdulillah, I'm not that fat, so I'll just use my regular holster that I use, the appendix holster. You know, I stand by those. I'll leave it right here and I'll drive with it on. And I'll tell them. There's a couple times I've gotten pulled over. Be like, yeah, it's in my appendix holster. They'll be like, okay, no problem. I'm like, you gotta take off my seatbelt. You gotta lift my shirt. And I'll make them do all of that. I'll make the cops take off. I'm like, go ahead, you can take off the seatbelt. Open the door, take off the seatbelt, lift my shirt, take it out. Please don't shoot me. It's loaded. You know what I mean? And they'll take it out and everything.
Can someone own a gun without having a CPL?
What is a gun? Pistol?
Yeah.
Own a pistol?
Yes.
Yes. You just have to be, by law, 18 years of age, and you have to go get a purchase permit from the police station.
So they know that.
So when you go to get a purchase permit, you give them your ID, they run a background check on you, you pass, they give you the permit. It's like an empty title.
Right.
And it's 3 copies. It has your name on each copy, and it has a whole bunch of blank areas that you have to fill out. So gun brand, gun model, barrel length, capacity, who's the purchaser, which is you, is gonna have your name, and then purchaser signature, seller information, seller signature, and so you can buy a gun from the gun range with that paper, or private sale.
And then my last question about car riding is if someone has a gun that does not have CPL, and it's in a car, it's true that it needs to be in the trunk and it needs to be like
They have to be separate.
separate.
Yeah, so the ammo has to be with the magazine. You can have a loaded magazine with you in the glove compartment or something, but the gun has to be in the back, or vice versa. And one more thing to touch on that question you just asked, us living in Michigan, there was a new law that's a big law that was implemented, I believe, February of 2024, or no, March of 2024. And if you want to just walk into a gun store and buy a pistol, you can no longer do that unless you have that purchase permit, or you have to have a CPL. Before, you just have to be 21. You just have to be 21. You don't need a purchase permit. You just have to be 21.
18 or 21?
To walk into a gun store and buy a pistol, you have to be 21 years of age and pass the background check that they do. Now, you have to have a CPL to buy a pistol, or go and get a purchase permit from the police station. So right now, you need a CPL more than ever.
My man Younes, answering questions, anything we're shooting at him. I appreciate you, man. We're moving into the last third of the show. We are going to run our last ad of today. So let's go ahead and give a shout out, Ramsey, to Juice Box, and then we'll keep it rolling. Shout out to Juice Box, Ramsey. If you're looking for a place with the best smoothies, milkshakes, ice cream, cereal bars, and slushies, then Juice Box is your one-stop shop. You can try things like their Biscoff or Nutella shakes, crepes, watermelon blast, strawberry burst, or mango smoothies. Juice Box currently has 4 locations: Hamtramck, Dearborn, Detroit, and Trenton. So be sure to stop by Juice Box and get ready to leave there with a big smile on your face. You can also visit their website at juiceboxblend.com or download their app at juiceboxblend.app. All right, so shout out to Younes, by the way. If you want to book him, aft313.com, aft313.com. I'm telling you, we had a great experience, my man Younes. Shout out to Younes, man. You want somebody that cares, and that's what he did. He cared because you can tell he's sincere. He's not in there for a money grab. He was trying to help us become more educated on gun laws and gun safety, and wanted to make sure, you know, that his brothers in Islam were ready to, inshallah, I mean, you know, protect their family with any circumstance or any case. So, you know, that's a perfect situation. If you were, you know, and I heard that, you know, you even give women classes as well too.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. But we don't like to have mixed classes.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do a women's classes, it's gonna be only women participants.
Yeah. So there you go.
It's more comfortable for them.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. So how can we engage younger generations in conversations about gun safety and responsible ownership within the community?
Can you repeat that one more time?
So basically, educating the younger generations. How can we do it?
How can we educate the younger generations?
Yeah.
How young?
We're talking high school.
High school is perfect.
Maybe even middle school, to be honest with you.
Because look, he's high school.
Yeah.
Right? He's a prime example.
Yeah.
He was excited.
Shoot or shoot.
He wanted to come shoot.
Yeah.
That's how we are in high school. We're more riled up and stuff, you know, and especially, you know, as boys, you know, we view guns as really cool.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, like, oh, wow, you know.
Yeah.
Either you're scared of them because of traumatic experiences, or you find them really cool and fascinating. And they are the main people that need to learn gun safety, because the most bad cases are kids his age.
Yeah.
Young kids are usually the ones that are getting hurt out there. Just like what happened recently in Hamtramck with those young boys in the car.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, I believe no one died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, I mean, I guess how would you do it though? Like, what would be your tips to educate the community, this young generation? Like, what would maybe go into the schools, podcast shows,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think
open discussions?
open discussion, have like a little, you know, like a visitor where they all, you know, everybody gets in the gym, just a, you know, a little. What
Do you
they
think that?
call
Do you
those
think that?
events?
Do you think that would be really effective, or do you think like a closed 8-person, 10-person session would be more effective? Because like us right now, we're asking him any question that comes to our head.
Honestly, I think if you like start off with the community, you
Yeah.
know, places that we know, like, what you from Hamtramck or
I'm from Detroit.
Detroit? Oh, I mean, like, you know, if we like start off like Hamtramck or Dearborn area, talk to someone, you know, give your reasoning, your points. I think it would be, you know, very beneficial.
The hard part about gun safety is because it's a very sensitive topic, especially in
Yeah,
schools.
that's
Especially in
the thing.
schools. So whatever you do, it would have to be like an after-school program.
Exactly. It's definitely
You
it's gonna
know,
be hard to be
because
in a school.
yeah, schools are tough.
Unless
man.
we're a school in Texas or something.
Oh yeah, schools in Texas they have actual classes they teach over there.
Exactly.
Part of the
That's
part of the 6 hours that you go to school.
Yeah.
It's one of the hours. Yusuf, what would be your recommendation? Like, what would how can we, or how can somebody like Younes get to the younger generation and affect them and teach them?
Well, the number one thing is the parents.
Mm.
Parents, and you can't do nothing without their consent. And so, really, is we have to win the hearts of the parents and bring it to their attention that this is a very important topic. Because their boys are gonna grow up and they're gonna want to get a gun. And what do you want them to be safe with it once they actually have it? Teaching gun safety and these 3 rules, you know what I mean? Just teaching those 3 rules that I mentioned and implementing it and even testing them and making them write it down. You're carving it into their brain, the gun safety rules. You know what I mean? You never point the muzzle at anything you're not willing to destroy. Your finger never goes on the trigger.
Treat every gun like it's loaded.
Every gun like it's loaded. I can empty a gun, take it apart, take the lower from the top, take the slide off. The lower is in my hand, empty, no barrel, nothing. I still won't point that at you. You know what I mean? Because you want to build good habits, right? And when it comes to gun training, a lot of it is muscle memory. A lot of it is muscle memory. For example, when you're done shooting, you're shooting bang, 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 bang. You think you're empty. What did I teach you to do?
Drop the mag.
Drop the mag.
Drop the mag. Then
Click.
rack the slide.
Rack the slide, yeah.
And then
Shoot.
shoot.
Yeah.
Click.
Drop it down.
It'll
so it's
click
still.
because it's empty, right?
Yeah.
It'll click. And then we put it down, facing downrange. I had to teach you that maybe once, twice.
Yeah.
And then every single time you guys were empty, muscle memory. Was it not?
Yeah.
You guys were doing it without me having to say anything. That's what I mean by building good habits, building safe habits, muscle memory. And this is going to be a shocker to most people, but when we were there, and every time you did that, you took the mag out, you racked it, and you clicked it. Did it shoot? It didn't shoot. It was we just dropped the hammer and nothing came out though,
Yeah.
right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. From my experience teaching classes for the last 4 years, I've had already 3 instances
Where you shot or something in there.
where they think it's empty. They take out the mag, they rack it, and they shoot, and it shoots. And a bullet comes out.
What's the explanation of why that happened?
The explanation is this is exactly why we do that drill.
Yeah.
To make sure it's
Everything's
empty.
on.
I'm talking about what's the explanation as a gun? How did that happen?
It could be a weak spring in the magazine. It didn't push up the follower enough, so the slide doesn't lock back, and there's one in there. Maybe people just think, oh, I shot 4 already, it's empty. It's happened a couple times where even with you guys in the beginning, where I'm like, keep shooting. Like you guys shoot and you guys want to stop. And I'm like, no, keep shooting until you're empty. People usually want to just quit quickly. You know what I mean? So it's a very important safety precaution.
Yeah.
When you think you're done, make sure you're done.
Right.
I like that. I mean, it's very important information, and we kind of touched on current gun laws. But how does current gun laws affect our community? You mentioned that new rule with now you have to have a pretty much CPL, and what changes would community members like to see? So, like maybe any other fact that changed maybe in the last 2-3 years that maybe slid under the rug that people may have not known, or maybe some stuff that you talk to people that would like to see more of, or maybe less lenient or more lenient, or anything.
I'm a strong believer that all gun laws are an infringement of our Second Amendment. There shouldn't be laws.
You're gonna have somebody on the show, maybe somebody that's opposite of you, gonna be
but
like, I disagree.
Let me explain why. Because how many bad guys do they catch in the streets with switches?
Yeah.
Do you know what's a switch? Do you know what's a switch?
No.
It's a little piece that they even 3D print or CNC machine, a little piece this small. They install on any Glock, and it'll turn a Glock into a fully automatic Glock.
Yep.
To have that level of firepower being used against you, and your weapons that you are legally allowed to buy are so regulated that you can't protect yourself with anything close to that level of firepower. Is that fair?
It's not fair.
Okay. We live in a realistic world where no matter how many gun laws you have, for example, one of the states that has the most gun laws in the country has the most gun violence. Explain that. Chicago. Illinois.
If the police catches somebody with the switch, what's the?
That's the possession of a assault rifle, they call it, or assault weapon. So it's a felony charge, yeah.
Okay.
You're going to jail. There's loopholes now to possess super semi-automatic guns, as I would like to call them. See, the switches are basically fully automatic, but there's triggers you can buy for maybe ARs and AKs out there. I'm sure you've heard of like binary.
Yeah.
So when you pull the trigger, it shoots. When you let go of the trigger, it shoots.
Damn.
You ever heard of that? So it's like bang, 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 bang.
That's crazy.
No, I mean, these are legal.
Yeah, that's like a bird.
These are legal.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. So, and there's also a topic. This is why I laughed when you asked this question, because are you familiar with ATF? Alcohol, tobacco, and firearm.
Okay.
It's like
I've heard of it.
entity in our government
Yeah.
that tries to ban certain laws and stuff and certain guns, and they want to classify a pistol brace as a stock, and they're the ones that are making it a hard time for all us responsible gun owners.
Okay.
Right? And there's certain triggers in the market that they banned and made illegal, and went and knocked on people's doors trying to repossess them. And then now they have recently been overturned. And I'm talking about FRTs, super safeties.
What happened? I want to know. Is it
what's going on?
Is it Ali? Did he say something that they're laughing at? I mean, y'all gonna laugh. You gotta explain the joke a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We're in a serious conversation right now. What's up? What happened? Were you saying something?
No.
It's cool. Basically, when they were talking to each other, he was explaining something, and then Ramsey was just laughing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I appreciate you for sharing that stuff, by the way, Younes. Very important information. So this is the part where I'm looking forward to, because I feel like these are going to be the clips, okay? The scenario edition, because people need to know scenarios. People are not educated enough. And I'm going to be honest with you, Younes. Not everybody books classes. Not everybody has, everybody's so busy these days that they don't have time. They want to scroll by an Instagram clip and be educated all of a sudden now.
Yeah. So let me before you start with scenarios,
Yeah.
I'm gonna base
Give a preface.
This is the premise.
Okay.
If you're in a deadly encounter, deadly situation, if it's just involving you and one person, you and a bad guy, your
Hold
family.
on, make sure the clip video's on him, right? All right, because this could be a clip right here.
Okay. Your number one goal is to run away.
Wow.
Yes. You must try to run away. Leave the danger zone. If you cannot run away, and you're scared for your life, and you have an imminent fear of loss of life, whether to your life or someone else's life, these are the requirements and the key words here for self-defense. Okay? There's an imminent danger. You know what imminent danger means?
Media.
Right now danger. Not that guy robbed me last week. I see him right now. I want to shoot him.
Yeah.
No, imminent danger right now.
And by the way, you're mentioning this because this is what defends you in a case of self-defense.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's an imminent danger and a fear of loss of life. Somebody's going to die. You're scared that somebody is going to die, and that is why you decided to pull your firearm out.
That's so key.
Okay?
That's scary.
That's reality.
That's the reality here. Okay? And remember, whatever scenario you give me, you have to prove to me first that there's no way for you to run away.
Okay. Someone comes into your house and steals stuff. You're upstairs. You come downstairs, they're leaving the house. Are you allowed to shoot them?
Sticky. They're leaving the house. They're at the doorstep.
Yeah.
One step and they're outside.
They're yeah. Like they're
One
opening
step away.
Yeah, they're opening the front door and they're about to walk out of the front door. And you come downstairs, you see that they took stuff and they're walking out of your house.
See,
they're not out of your house. They're walking out of your house.
Okay.
So they're still in the house.
No.
Yeah,
well,
walking
hold
out.
on. This has happened many times before.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking this
This
question.
has happened many times before, and there's cases that have gone both sides, is what I'm trying to say. So this is a very sticky situation. For me, as if I was the judge in this case, it's not self-defense. The guy is walking out, and there's obviously proof to prove that he was walking out because maybe his blood is on the front door, you know, because he was walking to that door. He was a step away, or maybe the bullet went through that door. So there's that evidence against you as well. So it's hard to explain that that's self-defense. And I remember there was a case where a guy ran up behind the robber as the robber was leaving and hit him with a bat in the back of the head. The guy died. And that guy, the homeowner, went to jail.
Wow, he's in his property?
Yes. Hit the guy in the back of the head. Okay. And as the guy was leaving, and he went to jail because the guy died.
Let's say the robbers assaulted you, then stole from you, and were leaving the house.
How did he assault you?
Like, they beat you up. Like, they beat you up, and now you are trying to go get your gun. You got blood all over you, and they're leaving the house after they got done robbing you and beating you up. Can you shoot them?
It's the same exact question, to be honest with
Okay.
you. The answer doesn't change. Because the whole key point that you're mentioning here is the guy is a step away from leaving. The second you're shooting is, what's the background? It's him in the front door. How can you prove to anybody that's self-defense?
Because a lot of people have misconceptions that people come on your property, they could just shoot.
It matters what state you're in. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you.
In Michigan, we're talking Michigan.
Okay, Michigan. This happened in Michigan. Those things I told you. were
Yeah.
in Michigan.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, people need to understand that just because some people come on your property, believe it or not, there are rules of how you should go about it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
there's other states where you can protect and shoot people if they try to steal from you. There's other states that you can do that in. You can shoot people on your property, not inside your house, and your property.
And that's why it's so important for people to actually know the rules that are from their state. I think
Yes.
there's one thing that I would want to take away from all this is every state is different in the United States of America. That's the crazy part. Like,
Yeah.
every rules are different. Actually, that leads me to my next one. Me having a CPL in Michigan, does that mean I'm allowed
Oh,
to carry
yeah.
in other states?
This is an amazing question. The Michigan CPL is the most valuable CPL in the entire country because Michigan CPL allows the most reciprocity. That's what they call it. So you can conceal carry in 40 states with the Michigan CPL. The most out of any CPL.
How about what's the weakest CPL?
I don't know. It's
Be Delaware.
irrelevant information. You know,
Ohio.
You can conceal carry.
I'm just trying to throw jabs at some states
You-
and some people
you-
that I don't like. You know what I mean?
You can conceal carry in Ohio. You can conceal carry in 40 states, as I said, with the Michigan CPL.
Do you know the last 10 that you can't?
I can just give you a couple off the top of my head, but not all 10.
Yeah.
New York, Illinois,
Really?
California.
Man, big
Yeah.
states, huh?
Wow.
New York, Illinois, California. Those are the kind of the countries that have the most countries.
States.
They operate like countries.
Yeah.
They have the most gun restrictions. If you ever are trying to buy a gun or trying to buy a part of a gun or something, it'll tell you in the bottom, cannot ship to New York, California, Illinois, this, that. So they'll tell you.
That's
I know you had a scenario. You said you had a scenario earlier that you said you wanted to ask.
No, but it was more like a fun scenario. Like, not really fun in guns, but like, let's say you have an interaction with somebody, and then they typically they want to actually fight you without guns. Are you the type to fight someone, or are you?
No, of course not. I'm not gonna fight. Why would I want to fight?
Yeah.
I teach people how to de-escalate. Listen, man, I'm not gonna fight you, and I'll back away. Like, man, I got people that love me. I'm not trying to fight you. Okay? And I'll back away. I'll keep backing away and keep backing away and keep backing away until my back is on a wall. If you still decide to come at me and my back is on a wall, I'm gonna put you down. That's how
I'm
my
saying so
hands.
you won't like do hand-in-hand combat. You'd rather.
No, why would I want to do that? How about if you get slept?
Yeah.
How about if you get slept? He takes your gun and just ends your life.
Yeah.
You have a gun. Why would you want to fight? What happens if you get slept and that guy does not care for your life?
Night, night.
You're done. If I never had a gun on me, I'll still try to de-escalate, but then I'll fight with my hands.
And you got
So
no
do-
other
But just the fact that I have a gun on me makes me not want to fight.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
option. Yeah.
I like the fact that you mentioned de-escalation. That's very important because that's the first step of everything, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people like to just go straight. High.
Yeah. And I think
Crash out.
that's the
Literally.
immaturity in people, and I think people are very close-minded because they don't realize that you have a great thing that you also mentioned was that you have people that love you, and you're selfishly making a decision, a 10-second decision. You know, I tell some of my friends all the time, like I was like, if this happened, what would you do? And they'll give me their answer. I was like, see, that's how dumb you are. Like, they'll say their answer, and I'll put them in a situation because, like, why is that your thinking? Like, why? Like, first of all, we're not 17, 18 years old anymore. You know, I'm talking about the guys who have wives and kids, and they'll still say the same answer that they would say, like, when they're 15, 16 years old. Like, why would you do that? Like, it'll be someone else's problem. Now, sticking up for someone, there's nothing wrong with that, for sure. I'll do the same thing. But why are you trying to physically, you know, have an altercation and you're not even in the altercation? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, if it's anything, you're coming in there to de-escalate the situation. And you know, I don't know. But I'm keeping off with the scenario situation.
Let me say this.
Okay.
There's 3 things you never do. Okay, this is by law. If you do any of these three things, you're going to jail.
Jail time.
I think you're about to go over one of my scenarios right now.
Okay. You want me to let you do the scenario?
No. Okay, I was gonna say people who I heard you never bring out your gun unless you're gonna shoot somebody. Like, you never
Okay.
show your
Yeah.
gun unless you're gonna shoot. And it's
Not
another
sh-
misconception.
no. Show and brandish is 2 different things.
Yeah. So maybe explain that.
Yeah, so I was gonna explain that.
That's part of the one of the 3.
It is one of the
Okay.
3. Yeah. So there's 3 things you never do, and the first one I like to say is shoot in the air. Big misconception. People are like, oh, warning shots. You know, I don't want to kill nobody. Well, you're going to jail. Okay. Let's say you walk out, people are fighting on the floor, whatever. They're jumping somebody. I don't agree with all these laws. I'm here to teach you guys the laws, but I'm not standing behind these laws as if they're my own,
Yeah.
beliefs. Okay.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that out there now. So, by law, you're not allowed to shoot in the air.
Right.
Cops come, shots were reported. They find out you shot in the air. There's no questions that are going to be asked. They're just gonna arrest you because you're not allowed to shoot in the air. Period. Secondly, you do not shoot to injure or scare. So you don't shoot the floor next to nobody. You don't shoot their feet. You don't shoot their hands. I don't stand by this.
I was gonna say
I
like
don't stand by that, by the way. I'm just saying
No.
this is the laws, okay? Yes, depending on your lawyer, you can try to come up with, I was scared and I shot his foot by accident. I was just trying to shoot him. It all depends on especially in this country, it all depends on who's your lawyer and how much money you got, unfortunately, you know. And the last one is what you were talking about, and it's do not brandish. So what does brandish mean? It means you take out your gun. This is a fake gun, by the way. I brought it for safety purposes. There's nobody right there. So if you take out your gun and point it at people, keyword, people, and you don't use it,
Jail.
that's called brandishing. Okay? So you'll go to jail immediately for that. Cops come. But see, I don't like that rule. But because I know that rule, I know how to operate accordingly. For example, let's say, and this has happened to me before, okay? Let's say I'm in a public setting, I'm in a gas station, because that's usually transitional spaces, gas stations, usually have a lot of crime, you know? Anyways, let's say I have this in a holster. Holster right here, usually where it's gonna be, okay? And I had this has happened to me before. This is a real story, but I was working in the gas station, okay, and I'm sure there's like 300, 400
Gas station stores.
Arab that work in gas stations around us, because every gas station you walk into in Michigan is an Arab behind the counter, right? Mm-hmm. And there's been stories, and I know people personally that are facing trials because of what they did. This is a lot of benefit for these stories right now. So then we were, I was working in a fish and chicken that's in the gas station. We have bulletproof glass. This is not a safe neighborhood, but we were bringing in supply, so our door is wide open to bring in the supply. And there's this one guy, okay, that always comes and always gives me problems, cusses me out, cusses out my mother, my grandmother, everybody, okay? Just foul people, you know? And obviously, you know, we don't communicate with these people. We don't treat them how they treat us, but, you know, okay, have a good day, whatever. So this one day he comes and he sees this opportunity that the door is open. So he starts cussing me out, but he comes to the door. He comes to the wide open door, right? And he starts cussing me out. He tells me, come on out. Let's go. Let's fight. He wants to fight me. He's come on out. This is all because of I chose not to give him a discount on some chicken or something. Like, it's ridiculous. So I stand back. He comes to the door. I immediately stand back. I take a couple steps back. I reach underneath my apron and I put my hand on my pistol, right? And I back away. Okay? Key words. I'm backing away. I'm not coming forward. Okay? Did I take my hand off my gun? Did I take out my gun? I did not take out my gun. All I did was put my hand on my gun. I didn't even show him my gun, by the way. All I did was put my hand on my gun, and I told him, I'm not coming nowhere near you. Please leave. Please leave. Please leave. He seen the hand under the apron. He understood the situation, and he left, alhamdulillah. I don't have to take out my gun, even though I was scared. I was scared for my life. The guy's like 7 foot, 300 pounds. He can stomp on me, you know? But just the example, like, you don't have to take out your gun to de-escalate a situation.
7 foot, 300 pounds, I'm giving him his chicken, bro.
You know what I mean?
I'm giving him his discount.
Yeah, man.
Hey.
I don't fold, bro.
You said you want some Baharat with that chicken, dog, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just joking, man. No, all jokes aside, I'm happy that you said that because that could help a lot of people and how to handle certain situations because that is a hot thing that's happening in our community right now.
And I would say this, like, for example, if it was in your position, let's say somebody has a knife.
Right.
Okay, let me put you on the hot seat now. This guy has a knife.
Yeah.
He's about 10 feet away from you. You see it in his eyes. He's looking at you. He's coming. Let's say you draw. You draw. He puts the knife down. You gonna still shoot him?
No.
Okay, but you're gonna go to jail for brandishing.
But it'll be less jail time, though, wouldn't it be?
You're gonna go to jail for brandishing. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with that. I'm just
Okay.
saying it'll be less jail time than me shooting him.
These are the laws. You know, I don't like the laws
Let me
at
tell
all.
you something. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you this right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way about it. Like ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, when it comes to protecting your family, you do what you got to do.
100%.
You know, I'm just saying, people. You know, what we're teaching them right now is the laws. But you know, you do what you got to do at the end of the day.
So
You know
what I
saying?
would say is to avoid that situation. Let's say somebody does have a knife or whatever. Somebody has a deadly weapon and they're coming at you or they're making claims and threats. Maybe doing what I did in the gas station instead of drawing. Maybe just showing the gun. Be like, take one step closer. If this gun comes out, I have to use it by law.
Yeah.
If this gun comes out, I have to use it by law. Okay,
Yeah.
taking a couple steps back, and I've seen there's a YouTube account, good YouTube account. They have over maybe 500 videos. Okay, it's called Active Self Protection. I love watching these YouTube videos. The whole account, every single video is just CCTV footage of robberies, killings, murders, all this, and the guy breaks it down. And there's a lot of self-defense situations. Many. And there are videos from all around the world. And he breaks the situations down. He teaches you situational awareness, which is very important to have, which 90% of the people around us do not have. Everybody's glued to their phones, walking around. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody can see a threat coming nowadays, right? And they'll break down a lot of self-defense situations. You know what I mean?
For sure. Hey, first of all, clap it up for Younes, man. MashaAllah. This was we learned even more from this situation. I hope that you guys learned something too. If doubled down on the actual training that we took. So first of all, before we give our final words, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. You can find all those platforms on our website at ozmedia313.com. Shout out to our sponsors, Hanley International Academy, Holy Bowly, Wingfellas, Juice Box, Malik Kebab, Jebel Coffee House, and Royal Kebab. Shout out to Younes, AFT313.com. That's the place where you can find, you can book them and they can come and take classes. They can come to you or you can go to them.
You just, if you go to our website,
AFT.
we have all our socials there.
All of the socials are there too.
Yeah, and so you'll see our phone number. And just give us a call. We're just a regular human. In the end of the day, you know, we're not no big corporation or anything.
Yeah.
You just give me a call and have any questions. A lot of people call me all the time. You know, I just like helping people. You know, so many people have called me like, hey, I have a gun. I don't have CPL. What do I do? This and that. I don't know them, but I'll just give you the information.
Yeah.
If you have any questions at all, you can shoot us a call anytime.
Shout out to my man Younes here. Ali, any final words and final comments?
No, I mean, you know, appreciate you having here. You know, definitely learned a lot more than what we did on the range. Yeah.
Yusuf?
Younes, thank you seriously for coming out. You know, you want to have somebody, especially somebody, like you said, Yemeni, we're all Yemeni, somebody of your kind to, you know, teach what you got to teach. So thank you.
Younes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for educating the community. That's the whole goal. I think for sure real scenario situations are going to be the clips, and inshallah people can benefit from those clips. And, you know, again, we're here to benefit and educate the community. That's what we're trying to do. Make the community more safer and a safer place. We're going to let you shut us down, Younes. Any final words, final comments?
Yes.
I'm sorry, before I cut
Yeah,
you
go
off,
ahead.
One more thing. You know, just wanted to point out that, you know, I'd be watching his stories. I saw he hit a new personal record. It was like less than a second or something. It was like 0.88 of
Yes,
like,
sir.
it was like drawing to shoot or something.
Yeah.
It was,
Go ahead and give that a round of
that's-
applause, man. That's a record right there, huh? Less than a
Yeah.
second.
I was
Don't even give nobody to breathe.
crazy.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
Stay away from him.
hey,
They say
so the student can only be as good as the teacher. And for me to excel in being a great teacher, I have to excel at being a good shooter myself.
Yeah.
I can't teach you to be a master if I'm not a master.
Yeah.
Okay. So alhamdulillah, I've been training for many years, and getting that 0.88 recently was very nice. I've already broke a second, months ago. I've gotten 0.98, 0.92, 0.95. 0.88 was my fastest, and that's draw to first shot from concealment. Boom.
Yeah.
Right? And that all comes from practicing at home with no ammo. So this brings me to my final point, which is when we are faced with situations, intense situations, we fall to our level of training. If you don't train, you're not going to know how to act and you're going to panic. But when we train, we build muscle memory. This is all muscle memory. Understand? Just knowing how to assess it, how to shoot, doing real life drills, it's all muscle memory.
Keep it going.
Damn,
Yeah.
my ears are about to pop.
Yeah.
So I urge everybody, take the basic pistol course. Learn. Go to YouTube if you don't want to pay for a class, it's no problem. I never paid for nobody to teach me. I never paid anybody to teach me how to shoot. I went on YouTube, learned from the people on YouTube, learned from the professionals, learned from the world-class competition shooters. Learn from them on YouTube and then go implement the knowledge in the range. You have to train. You have to train. You have to train. Okay? How do you expect yourself? Then this comes down to the sunnah as well. If you're a Muslim, rimaya, people say is archery, right? Long distance combat is from the sunnah, and there's nothing better than shooting that's long distance combat. So why? Because you can protect yourself, your wife can protect herself before attackers get close to them.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. The whole point is not letting an attacker get close to you where they can overpower you. That's why it's very important to teach your women, your daughters. Very important. Our women and our daughters are everything, and they're the number one targeted people in this country, especially single mothers, maybe living with no father in the house, no man in the house. They need these more than anything. So it will bring me to my final point is we are doing like pretty much every month we're gonna do like a free single mothers class. So we'll have 10 single mothers. You just reach out like, hey, I'm a single mother. I'll sign you up for the class. We have a free class once a month for the single mothers because they need the CPL more than you and me.
I love that. Go ahead and give that a round of applause. Giving out back to the community right there. Appreciate you, Younes. Again, this is Younes Ahmed from AFT, Advanced Firearm Training, AFT313.com. Be sure to check them out. This was Season 4, Episode 26 of Motivate Me 313's podcast, Gun Safety 101, what every owner should know. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.